Hey everybody, Karen Anderson here with Aortic Hope, live for our week in review. Before we get started, please click the like button, click the little bell under subscribe so you're notified every time we go live so you don't miss out on all the shenanigans and fun that we do here. And we do these live events, these week in review events specifically so that we can share some of the informational posts that we put up on our website and on Facebook with those of you who prefer the YouTube medium. And you can interact with us. So drop a comment below. We'll be more than happy to respond. And if you're watching this on a replay or Memorex, as they said back in our day, we'll be sure to respond anyway as well. And we are so happy to have our guest with us here, Miss Diane Bishop of Aortic Health Unlimited from Alabama. Roll Tide.
Hello, everybody. Good to be here.
We haven't had you for a while, so it's exciting.
Yes, it is.
It is exciting. And we also have in the background, I don't know if you can see, my mama. She's trying not to laugh. She's giggling. She's in the back. We're both like getting over some cold. So if you hear a cough, if you hear, it's probably her. And it's okay because this is how we roll. She's making it all about having some fun.
Okay.
All right. So you know what? Away we go. Away we go. All right. We're going to start off with Medical Monday from last week. And oh boy, do I know too well. It's cold and flu season. Have you ever wondered if being sick could actually impact your blood pressure? We kind of know that it does. But the article, Does Being Sick Affect Your Blood Pressure, in Health Central, which was written by Sheila Eldred. Sheila explains that while we all know typical symptoms of being sick with a cold or a flu, we don't necessarily think of our blood pressure as something that could be affected. But as she says, quote, flu puts stress on your cardiovascular system and can cause your blood pressure to elevate. So before I go any further, let's talk about that. A flu is a COVID. It's all part of the same category. So whether you are in the camp of COVID, it might be separate or might not even, whatever it is, when you have a virus, it can actually elevate your blood pressure. It puts stress on your cardiovascular system. That's not really worrisome if you're in good overall health. But in this community, it can be concerning if you've already been diagnosed with hypertension. Though it's unclear exactly how much a bout with the flu impacts your blood pressure, a recent study published in the Journal of American Heart Association found that getting the annual flu vaccine provides important protection for your heart. Findings suggest that the flu vaccine was significantly associated with reduced risks of death from cardiovascular causes, including heart attack and stroke, in patients who had hypertension. And most doctors' offices are stocked with this year's flu vaccine. And let's also talk about the vaccine before I go on. The vaccine actually protects against the strain. You can still develop other strains, but it doesn't necessarily keep you from getting the flu, just like a COVID vaccine doesn't necessarily keep you from getting COVID. It just protects you from having a really hard, hideous, disgusting bout with it. Hey, Terry, we're going through our Medical Monday post of last week. Dr. Nicole Weinberg, a cardiologist at Providence St. John's Health Center in Santa Monica, California, mentions too that there's also a correlation between illness and lower blood pressure. Now, I did not know this, and when I read this, I was kind of stunned. But for all this talk about the link between illness and high blood pressure, ironically, the opposite can also be true. So if you're vomiting or you have severe diarrhea, or a fever, you might become dehydrated. And dehydration sometimes can cause a dip in blood pressure, according to the American Heart Association. And some quite serious conditions, such as septic shock, can cause blood pressure to drop as well. And of course, there's a link to the whole article. So I'm curious, ladies, if you want to share your opinion about flu and sickness and illness and blood pressure, and if you've been sick, what have you been experiencing? Diane, take it away.
Can I say it sucks? I mean, for someone that already has a condition, and then like what you say, or without a condition, to go through dehydration through vomiting, and you said or diarrhea. There ain't no or to it, because usually if you vomit, it's coming out both, and you don't know which end to put in the commode. The struggle is real, folks. It is real. I know we all been there. Ain't that right, Terry? It has been so real. It's awful. But I mean, for anybody, what it don't matter what you have, the flu is bad on your body. But then you take somebody that's sick, that's dealing with the high blood pressure and dissection that we have. We got extra complications and things that we got to be more careful about. For me, also having systemic lupus erythematosus. It's an autoimmune disease that affect my organs. I'm constantly have to be pre-med and things. So, I mean, I've got to go to the dentist tomorrow, and I'm required to be pre-med a couple of days before and then even after. But with the flu, and it takes me opposed to somebody with just heart problem because of my autoimmune disease. It takes me so much harder and longer to recover because of my autoimmune system. So I have a hard time, getting up and going and adjusting and getting feeling better. I have a little bit extra dose of complications.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Terry, your thoughts, and you're muted.
I'm muted on purpose. There's
Okay.
somebody else in here.
Okay. Well, somebody's in my room too. I had shown everybody. If you look behind the magic, my mom is in here. Yeah.
My husband.
Okay.
My husband
Okay.
back there. The thing that concerns me is that with the high blood pressure and getting sick, we are so limited as to what we can take to make us somewhat feel better. I mean, nothing. It's a cold. It's a flu. It's got to run its course. But having high blood pressure, you're basically limited to the cortisone and HP. And we can't take Motrin. We can't, take any kind of that like that. So we have to take the Tylenol, and it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And it's interesting. I was taking the Quercetin HBP, and it was like taking a Tic Tac, like a Tylenol. And when push came to shove, the conversation I had with my doctor was I needed to be comfortable and we need to get the cough gone. So I was on Mucinex. I was on Mucinex DM. I'm also taking albuterol inhaler, which is jacking my world up because my heart rate will shoot up to close to 100 when I'm resting. But it's a cost benefit situation at this point. I've been told under no uncertain terms, I need to get this cough under control. It is not great to be coughing with 2 aneurysms. So do you take the medicine that could possibly cause your blood pressure to rise, knowing that I could take extra blood pressure meds if necessary, so we can fix that? And that's the way it seems, at least my doctor is going. We got to get you comfortable. And you're talking short term. So I've already done a course of steroid. Can't do that again. So yes, I hear what you're saying, and it can be so limiting sometimes, but this is where, one, you need to get vaccinated. If you don't believe in vaccinations, that is, of course, up to you and a conversation you should have with your doctor. But without being vaccinated, if you catch the flu or COVID, it could potentially be so much more worse for you. But have that conversation with your cardiologist or your primary care, who should be in contact with your cardiologist, and kind of figure out what the best course of treatment is for you, especially if you have an underlying condition like Diane was talking about, something secondary that impacts your immune system. You have to have the conversation.
The other thing about vaccination, I mean, I know there's people that are anti-vax, but sometimes it's easier just to get that vaccination, feel bad for a day or two, and it prevents you from feeling really bad for several days. I made the mistake of getting both COVID, my 5th booster, I think, and the flu at the same time. Yeah, don't do that. But anyways, I did it. I survived it. But that way, knock on wood, wherever it may be, I have not been sick at all so far. And I was in Florida, and then I came back to this crappy weather. So it's better to get vaccinated than not get vaccinated, because it just shortens the time for everything.
Yeah, agreed. All right, we are moving on out of Medical Monday. Let's move on to Topic Tuesday. I think we're kind of still all in this encompassing conversation here. And Medical Monday, we talked about the cold and flu season and the possible impact on your blood pressure, which I didn't even know that it could possibly lower your blood pressure. But I guess that makes sense if you're becoming dehydrated, if you're on a lot of antihistamines, it's drier outside, whatever the case may be. But excuse me, today on our Topic Tuesday, we wanted to remind you about how, and we were just talking about this, over-the-counter or OTC medications can affect your blood pressure and your heart rate as well. So remember, before you take any medication or supplements, you need to clear that with your physician to make sure it won't have an adverse effect on the medications that you're presently taking or impact your BP, blood pressure, or your HR, heart rate. And in the article called High Blood Pressure and Cold Remedies, Which Ones Are Safe by Dr. Francisco Lopez. Want to help me out there, Diane? Francisco Lopez Jimenez. It's beautiful. From the Mayo Clinic. Dr. Lopez Jimenez shares that among the over-counter cold remedies, this is important, decongestants contain the most concern for people with high blood pressure. And so decongestants relieve those nasal stuffiness by narrowing blood vessels and reducing swelling in the nose. And this narrowing can actually affect other blood vessels as well, which can increase your blood pressure. So to keep your blood pressure in check when you're not feeling great, you want to try to avoid the over-the-counter medications that are decongestants and multi-symptom cold remedies that contain decongestants like, here we go, pseudoephedrine. I got that one. Ephedrine, got that one right. Phenylphedrine, something like that. Nafazoline, I love trying to pronounce these. It's what is Karen going to say today? And oxymetazoline. Avoid those things that you can't pronounce. Check the label for high sodium content. I'm entertaining my mother, which can also raise blood pressure. So instead, some of the things you want to think about is choose a cold medicine designed for people who have high blood pressure. And what is that called again? Quercetin. It says right on there, HBP for high blood pressure. And there are cold medicines that don't contain the decongestants, which is what we're not supposed to take. So avoid medications that have warnings on the label specifically for people who have high blood pressure and those who are taking blood pressure medications. So that's the first thing. We also talked about pain relief. I think we would all agree that Tylenol is like taking like nothing, right? It's so hard to get Tylenol to work. But if you're going to relieve a fever, sore throat or headache or body aches, they do want you to try aspirin or acetaminophen. Taking a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory such as ibuprofen, Motrin, Advil, and naproxen, thank you, sodium or Aleve, can actually contribute to high blood pressure. How much, I'm not sure. I've talked with my doctor. I do take Advil when I need it. I don't see an increase in my blood pressure. Of course, I'm taking one Advil, maybe two. I don't take it every day. I don't, so these are all conversations that you need to be having with your doctor. And I want to hear what you guys have to say in just a minute. Use a saline nasal spray. You can also use a humidifier if you're dry and you want to be moistened. You can use a dehumidifier if you're all stuffy and you need to get some of that out. But to relieve nasal congestion, try just a regular saline nasal spray. The spray can actually help flush your sinuses. So using too much of the medicated nasal spray, you can actually cause an adverse reaction and you'll tighten up those sinuses. So regular saline. If you need to soothe your throat, so if you need to relieve your throat sore, scratchy, gargle with warm water, salt water, drink warm water with lemon juice or with honey, or try menthol lozenges. I like Halls, cherry, and I like Ludens. Personally, I grew up with Smith Brothers, but they were chewy when we get stuck in my braces, whole other topic. But use some type of throat lozenge. They are not contraindicated for people with blood pressure. Excuse me. Drink plenty of fluids. This is all common, suggestions like water, juice, tea, soup. They can actually help clear out your lungs of phlegm and mucus. We just talked about increasing the humidity in your home. Use a cool mist humidifier or a vaporizer to moisten the air. This might help ease congestion and coughing. Get plenty of rest. If you're not feeling well, take it easy. And call your doctor if your signs or symptoms get worse instead of better and last more than 10 days. So Terry, I'm going to hand this off to you first. Thoughts about the things that we can do instead to help versus over the counter?
The main thing, I mean, all of those things are good. The only one I have a problem with is the salt water, because what does salt do? It raises your blood pressure. But the key thing is the last thing. You need to talk to your doctor. The whole Motrin Advil thing, I've had high blood pressure since I was 28. No one ever told me not to take Advil until this last doctor, the one that I'm currently going to. So you have to be in constant contact with your doctor. And if they say use the nasal spray, use the nasal spray. Even though I don't like using nasal spray, it definitely helps. But the biggest thing again, talk to your doctor and rest. Karen, rest. Did I say that? Rest. It
What?
makes
No.
people feel better.
God, it just seems like I'm always going, 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 and going.
I know.
But you know what? It's just been sickness. It's not even like a cold. It has just buried itself into my bronchial tubes, and it's hideous. And that's going to be a post you're going to see soon, because I don't know about you guys, but we will get into this discussion. If it's extremely hot out or extremely cold, that air gets into my lungs, seizes me up. I could either have a cough attack. I just feel like I can't breathe. And that's been that way since my dissection. It's like too much of the extremes of the temperature really impacts us. Doesn't impact Diane because she doesn't live in the extremes. She's got blonde highlights, and it's the mid of November.
Roll
Roll
Tide.
Tide. Right. All right, go ahead. What's your thoughts, Di?
One of the things that I do, and I have a bottle of it, the little bee sitting right by my table by my bed, and I'm a firm believer, and it does help. Honey, I don't even bother getting a spoon. I'll just sit there and take the darn bean out, and I'm good. I might have to do a couple times, but it just soothes everything. It does. And another thing that I find is taking Vicks vapor rub, either while you're in the shower and just put a jar of it out, or I have an old pot or one of them simmers where you do the potpourri, and I put a teaspoon of Vicks in it, and I put it in my bedroom, and it opens up all this. Because I don't like this. Who wants to smell like a vapor rub? You know, rubbing it on your chest and stuff. But I do take and I put it in my bedroom, shut the door, and let it
Deep.
yes, all up in my room, and I could breathe better. All this will be popping, but that helps me a lot. Now it's not necessarily good for opening this up, but something that y'all heard of this before, and I'm here to tell you it works. I do not do it all the time, but at times when I tried medication after medication and I could not get rid of this cough or the flu bug, I got a bottle of whiskey, put a little bit in the pot, put a little bit of tea, honey, peppermint, and lemon. I boiled it till it got as hot as I could drink it. I drank it and took my butt in the bedroom, covered myself up, and I'm telling you, I came out, I mean, soaking ass wet. I mean, soaking wet, but I sweat all that through the pore, and do you know, it helped. I mean, it got rid of all that came out of my pores when nothing else worked. Now, I don't know specifically is rum or any of that is doctor will recommend. Talk to your doctor before you do any of this. This is Diane Bishop home remedy, desperation, but it does work. Drink it when it's hot. You don't have to drink a whole cup. I just drank maybe that much. Drank it while it's warm, got up underneath the cover, and it sweated out.
The Diane Bishop cold moonshine.
Isn't that what they call hot toddy?
Oh yeah, hot toddy.
That's right. You heard that, ain't it?
Yeah.
And it does work. I promise. It works. But like I said, talk to your doctor. Make sure that you could handle the alcohol or whatever. Because I don't know no one's position. But for me, that was the best thing. Because my body was hurting, my muscle, my joints. I cough to where my chest was burning, my throat. I was. You ever cried because you didn't know if you want to throw up and cough and switching in the commode? I done it, Karen, and I feel good.
Good. No, I haven't. I mean, I've heard of hot toddies and I've heard of what you're describing. But yes, and my doctor actually she told me to scoop out some Vicks, throw it in the shower, sit in there, and
Yeah.
even put some on my chest. So like you
Yeah.
said, these are all great ideas. Everybody talk to your doctor because we're not physicians. We're just
That's
here to
right,
share with
please.
you our experiences and let you take that conversation onward.
Uh,
Otherwise, we're gonna have a bunch of drunk people joining us.
Bo's got a point. He says, just
Mhm.
take Chloracidin high blood pressure for your cold.
Yeah, you know, Bo, I've taken that Chloracidin HBP, and I didn't think it did anything for me.
I couldn't feel nothing. I mean, not
felt
that you want
nothing.
to feel, but
It-
I got no results with mine.
Yeah,
It works for me, but it's not as good as what,
it's
when I
not
didn't
like
know any
NyQuil.
better. Yeah.
NyQuil's really good.
I know, when I didn't
Yeah.
know any better, it definitely was,
Right.
better with that stuff. Oops, sorry. It was better with that stuff, but it definitely works. It's just not as, I just don't think it's as effective, but
Yeah.
at least
Mhm.
it's something.
Yeah, and everybody's different. There's plenty of people like Bo that do take that Chloracidin and it works really well. I did eventually end up with Mucinex DM, and I kind of feel like that worked. And my inhaler is really the one that's kind of my saving grace right now. It's just these
He also
colds.
says it takes him 2 Z-Packs to get rid of the cough.
Yes, I'm actually just
Oh.
finished zithromycin Medrol pack of that, and then I did Medrol pack of prednisone, really low dose.
Mhm.
It's been a mess. I started off with uveitis. Have you heard of uveitis? Okay, you know the little google dingle dangle in the back of your throat,
Yeah,
my
the little,
little thingy. Well, I kept thinking I was swallowing. Oh, this is so gross. And I thought I was swallowing phlegm. And then I looked, no, I was swallowing myself. I was swallowing my uvula. It was huge. It was long. And then I shook my head and I felt it go swing back and forth. And I went to the doctor and he's like, yeah, you have uveitis from coughing so much. So then I had to be on steroids. I was like, I don't ever want that ever, ever, ever again. So hideousness.
Can I ask y'all a question? Maybe
Mhm.
I shouldn't, but I'm just curious. For me, whenever they gave me the Z-Pack, it makes my heart race more.
If it's
Anybody?
prednisone, which kind of Z-Pack, like what kind of Medrol pack are you talking?
The one that you take 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Prednisone, yeah, it's going to make your heart race. Steroid.
But is that necessarily good with the elevation and the rise
Yes.
and fall of pressure?
Because if you don't, the alternative is coughing like crazy. And if you have an aneurysm, that's not good, great. So it's that whole cost benefit situation.
Right.
It's like, but you can't do 2 doses. I mean, steroids are just hideous for people with vascular issues.
Right.
But it's one of those devil drugs. It's like, it's great short term and you need to hit something hard and fast, but it is not great long term for sure. It's not good.
Like a double-edged sword, right?
It is. It
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Not fun.
It's that my mom was on it for a long, long time. Unfortunately, she was on it for a long time, and they call it that miracle drug. Yeah, it's a miracle drug, and it fixes everything, but the side effects are horrendous.
Hideous.
Right.
Makes me feel like the Incredible Hulk if I'm on it too long. Like I'm,
Yeah.
and then I eat an entire sleeve of Girl Scout cookies.
Right.
That's not good either. So it's
You
bad.
eat,
Yeah.
you're grumpy. It's your mood
Yeah.
swings are worse than if you're.
Shaky. Yes.
Not good. I mean, it makes you feel invincible, like nothing hurts on your body. It's wonderful, but it's not good for us. For us, this community, for sure.
For our spouse.
Well, also Ryan and Bruce say hi as well as Bo. They all say hi.
Hey, Ryan. Hey, Bruce. Ryan,
Brian.
you're like a day short. What is it? A day late, dollar short. You could have helped me with half these words that I couldn't pronounce, but I'm sure there's more coming up. So then you can phonetically spell it out for me because I know it's pure entertainment. All right, we are moving on to Therapeutic Thursday. This is kind of interesting. On any given day, having to make a decision would be a normal task. It could be stressful to make a decision. However, for many of us with aortic disease, the task of making a decision has actually become daunting. It's like too much that's going on in here. Did I see my mom when I did that? Sorry. Decision fatigue. This is what it's called. Decision fatigue is the idea that our ability to make decisions can get worse after making many decisions. You would think it would get better, but I think in our community, we're at risk that it becomes worse. So this is called decision fatigue. And according to Kaiser Permanente psychiatric social worker Lee Miller, quote, it's when your mind feels mentally and emotionally overwhelmed from making many decisions at one time or in a row. And in this article called Feeling Stressed from Making Decisions, here are 4 tips for dealing with decision fatigue. The article explains the following. Here's some of the tips. So when we've got too much decision making going on and we're feeling fatigued, or we're becoming full of anxiety, which then ultimately increases our pump head, right? Because we've got so little, too many things going on, can't make a decision. We should create simple routines. So decisions take energy, explains Miller. So cut down on the number of decisions you need to make by simplifying your routine, or as Terry would tell me, delegate. Then you don't have to make so many decisions, Karen. That could mean eating the same breakfast during the week, or choosing the clothes you'll wear the night before. It helps reduce that decision-making task. You could even create a daily uniform so you won't have to decide what to wear in the moment. But by creating routines that turn into habits, we reduce the number of decisions we need to make and conserve our energy for bigger tasks and decisions. Want to comment on this first one?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, go for it.
I take and I make it a point before I go to bed that I've got 2-3 outfits laid out. So if I'm in a hurry, I'll have something, because I don't know. I dress depending on the mood that I'm in, and of course where I'm going and what would be appropriate. But you probably already know, Karen, I changed several times, but I've gotten in the habit to where I lay my clothes, at least 2 or 3 things aside. And then I try to go ahead, and all my medicine, my cup is laying there. The first thing by a certain time, I'm up, hit the shower, and then I've got my certain me time. I tell everybody now, this is my time right here. And I've been doing, me and you have discussed this before. I've been doing extremely well with giving me some more me time, because I'm the world's worst of thinking I've got to aid somebody, or the only one that can help somebody out. But my meals, like as of right now, I have managed to pre-cook my meals and freeze them. And then all I got to do is warm it up. So we got some good homemade hot chili that I made about 4 days ago in the freezer, and I've got it taken care of.
Smart. That's smart. I'm so glad you're finally doing that.
Yes, me
Took
too.
a couple years. Listener, she's like, yes. Yes. All right, let's go on to the next one. And Tammy, Terry, I'm just going to call you 100 names. I do it. I don't know. You know what? It's because the people on the board, they got like 2 syllables. Jenny, Tammy, Terry. It just whatever. I've got decision-making concern. I'm at fatigue. Okay, make a list of priorities. Writing things down helps get thoughts off of your mind and onto paper. Studies show that journaling can actually help reduce stress, relieve symptoms of depression, and increase resilience. Why Terry's so resilient. And writing lists by hand is a good way to organize your thoughts and keep stress in check. Yep, very good. Everybody's got their lists. Try writing down the top 3 tasks you want to complete or decisions that you need to make. As you cross those items off your list, it can help you stay positive and productive. All right, list writer, Terry, go for it.
Oh, I have to make a list. I actually have like 3 lists in front of me. I'm also kind of working from home today, so this is like my work list. But I also have a journal that I write in, and I also use that. I also have another notebook that is for all my aortic hope stuff. When Karen spits stuff off, I write it all down so that I have it written down and Karen doesn't have to repeat it. And then I also have a journal, not necessarily a journal, more of a calendar thing that I use just to track my meals every day. Just that way I stay on track. I'm supposed to eat what I'm supposed to eat, not eating when I'm not supposed to eat. And it's easier to write it down because you can look at it. And even like back in my college days, which was only a few years ago, I would write, I would write stuff down. I would write stuff down and then copy my notes and redo them, because writing it down was easier and faster to go from my brain, from my hand to my brain. Also, right. The notes that I took, you couldn't read anyways. I had to rewrite them. But yeah, just a few years ago.
And one of the things that a cognitive psychiatrist will tell you, or neuroscientist will tell you, is that while the idea of pump head is real, A lot of individuals who believe they have pump head don't actually have pump head all of the time. A lot of it is this decision-making fatigue. It is anxiety. And if you write down what you need to do, putting something in your brain to paper does help you remember it. Even though I sometimes go to my to-do list and I don't even remember writing it down, but it doesn't matter because it's there and now I can do it. And I used to be very paper driven. Everything is in my calendars on my phone, and I am working my new Outlook calendar. I'm still addicted to my Google calendar because I have to have two things in two places. I will not give either of them up at this point. I like making sure everything's in both places. So I have moved my to-do lists off of my paper onto my calendar because at least it hits me with an alarm. And then I remember, oh, I have to go to the dry cleaner. Otherwise, I can just talk about it and 10 seconds later, because I have other things to do, I don't remember it at all. So it does not mean that you've had a stroke or you have a problem with your brain. It means you very well could have decision fatigue and you just need to find another method that works for you.
The other thing also, we use it at work, and it's sort of relates to the whole thing. We have a CRM, see,
What?
there I go, my pump head. We have a system that we use where we track all of our clients and all of our information and data is in there. You can also make what's called tasks. So it's like a to-do list, but it just happens to be in the system, it's tasks. And that way, if someone's like, well, where are we with this client? Somebody else can go in and look and see under me that, oh, this is where I am, this is where I need to be. So it is like a to-do list, but that's another way as a bigger picture because of with my job.
Right, right. All right, here comes another one, another tip for decision-making fatigue. Ask for advice. The pressure to make decisions on our own can be very overwhelming, even emotionally exhausting. And when we're faced with difficult decisions, it can help us to reach out to a trusted friend or a family member. You can talk through your choices together. You can connect with others. And that might be a helpful way to cope and make decisions, especially during uncertain or stressful times. So I know Diane will say we do that. We usually check in with each other when one of us is about to fall off the cliff, like Pitfall on Atari.
Yep.
And yes, we only graduated college yesterday, so I don't even know why we're talking about that, but yeah, we're just about ready to jump off the cliff. And then I'm like always calling Terry. So, you need people sometimes just to bounce all that you have going on, because I don't think unless you're in this world or you're in another medical illness world where you've had so much go on with your brain and your body, nobody understands that we were once able to have 16 computer screens minimized on the phone. I got my foot up there hitting the enter bar, whatever I needed to do. And now it's like, wait a minute, like, did I eat breakfast? Do I have to brush my teeth? Like, I don't remember. And then what happens is as soon as you get caught up on you can't remember, then it becomes worse. The cycle sometimes can brew, and now you think something's wrong. So then you become anxious again, and it becomes almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I think one of the reasons why we bring up articles like this in the community is to let people know that this is all normal. This is normal. You're not the only one that goes through this or feels it. And you should reach out to people and talk about it. It's one of these tips. And now we're going to get into the next tip that Diane talked about, and that's finding me time. Find time for self-care. Right. One of the things that the cognitive psychiatrist said to me is meditation. Was not into that Mr. like Miyagi kind of stuff. I can't just sit there and do it. I mean, listen, we all do it when you're driving home and you don't remember how you drove home, but next thing you know, you're in the driveway. You basically were meditating or just not paying attention, but it probably was a nice combination of the two. You can meditate while brushing your teeth when you're just giving thought to something else. I have actually done it while I've taken a bath, listening to some really kind of cool, like Pan the Magic Flute type music. Next thing you know, I thought it was 10 minutes. It was 45, and I could not have been any more relaxed. Just bringing it center and focusing on my breathing. So all of this stuff that I didn't believe in before, I've now done it and I now believe in it. But our schedules are often packed with everyday responsibilities, but it's important that we fit in moments of self-care. So try a brisk walk outside, except don't do it when it's 32 degrees or like 98 degrees, because it's not great for you. But taking a midday nap, I totally agree with that. Take a midday nap. Try to recharge for the rest of the day. Deep breathing, stretching, taking a moment to focus on how we're feeling. It's a great way to slow down and to give your brain a rest. And then you'll be re-energized and ready to make decisions with a clearer mind. Just remember that making small, oh, I just lost it. Just remember that making small changes to your routine can make a very big impact on your day. It may take you a few times to make these tweaks and to see these things become a habit, but ultimately it will help reduce that decision fatigue and support your overall mental health and wellness. Final thoughts, ladies, on this decision fatigue.
Yeah, the decision fatigue. Well, first of all, looking at that picture that says reduce stress, that's all I really need to reduce my stress is going to the beach. But when that when that's not absolutely possible, I actually had this discussion with somebody the other day. I go to the gym almost 5 days a week. And the reason I go to the gym, yeah, it's for health benefits, but you know what? It's more mental than anything. And it was hard as heck to start it 2 years ago. But something clicked and I decided to go. And now I'm to the point that I get on the treadmill and I read. And what do I read? I read silly stuff that doesn't require brain thought. And it's a habit. It's me time. Everybody knows it. Don't call me between 5 and 6 because I'm probably at the gym. And the other thing that I do, and again, there's a lot of things you can do that don't cost anything. But then the other thing I do is my nails are always done. That is my 30 to 40 minutes every couple of weeks that I don't have a daughter to come with me. My son knows where I am. My husband knows where I am. And it's me time. And there is a huge benefit of me time. Everyone has to do it.
Yep.
Oh gosh, yes.
All right, Diane, she highlights her hair.
Yes, I do. I have to. I got to cover my gray. It's not gray, it's silver. My
Your
dark hair is
glitter.
It's
Their wisdom
glitter.
highlights.
it's knowledge and wisdom, but you could see I gotta go back. I need to take a collection. Them bad boys, you could sew a pair of pants with it. But anyhow, one of the things, it's like Terry said, I used to go to Planet Fitness and I found that for me, it was my me time and I made friends, which made me, when I got a workout buddy or a girlfriend to go with, it made you want to go and do something and it made you feel good. You know, when you take time for yourself or do something different, you tend to break up the cycle or the monotony you have going on your daily life. For me, also, the main thing that I do, I go to my cabin, and that's
Your
my
she
work
shed.
area. Yeah, my she shed. I do literally have a she shed. It has absolutely everything in it, even my whatnot lightning. And I love to create and I do stuff for others. I design and I get to see what I can make after the fact. But that's something that I do every day whenever I'm feeling well enough. I take time for myself, especially after I cook and everybody eats and the dishes are all done and everyone's gone to their TV, watching TV. It's my time to by myself.
Right. Right.
Yes,
Very good.
I absolutely have to.
All right. That was our Therapeutic Thursday, which takes us into Feel Good Friday. So this was another interesting article. It was in an article in Mind Your Mind. It was an author. Her name is just Mindy. Shares in her blog, Feel Good Friday, what is in a quote? It's very interesting. How is it that a few words strung together can be so powerful? She says, I love the way that some of these that we have listed below, some of those messages get to me and get me to self-reflect. So let's go over some of these. I'm curious to know what you think. Sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. That's Dr. Seuss, and it doesn't even rhyme.
I like that.
I like that too. I like that too. I think that all goes to the take me time and try to hold on to the value of a moment, because when it's gone, it's gone. That kind of moment's over. All right, here's another one. I like this one when I'm sassy. From Lady Gaga. Well, that's your opinion, isn't it? And I'm not about to waste my time trying to change it. Now, I'm sure there's a million different ways you could read that, like really sweet. Like, well, that's your opinion, isn't it? So I'm not going to waste my time trying to change it. But that's not how I read it. I read it like, because that's how I feel it. I'm not going to waste my time trying to change somebody if that's their opinion, is what it is.
I can see that coming from Lady Gaga. It's definitely, I mean, just picturing
Yes,
her,
sir.
it's definitely that
Yes,
kind of
sir.
message.
Mm-hmm. Right. The things that make me different are the things that make me by Pooh.
100%.
100%. Some people arrive and make a beautiful impact on your life. You can barely remember what life was like without them. That's from Anna Taylor.
When I
Nice.
think of somebody, that makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
And they know who
Mhm.
they are.
Yeah. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou. That's very true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
People will often forget things that you've done for them and things that you've said. And I think, that's kind of why this got started. I didn't want anybody to feel, I didn't really care. Like, we didn't have to have a connection. I just didn't want anybody to ever leave that doctor's office and feel the way that I felt on my first day. Whatever I needed to do to make that happen. And you have your own journey, Diane, with Aortic Health Unlimited. You just
Right.
never wanted anybody to go through what you went through after you lost your niece. And and after you went through this, I mean, it's more about what can I do to have somebody else not feel what we have seen and witnessed or felt ourselves.
Exactly.
Yep. All right. I used to think the worst thing in life was to end up alone, but it's not. The worst thing in life is to end up with people who make you feel alone. That was Robin Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And that is true. Don't waste your time and do that. This one I used not too long ago. I didn't realize would end up in this quote. I can't see if there's another. Yes, there's another one. Okay. I like this one. I walk around like everything is fine, but deep down in my shoe, my sock is falling off. And there's nothing worse than having a sock fall off in the middle of your shoe. How uncomfortable and horrible is that? But when you apply it to your life, I mean, come on. It's hideous. It's horrible. And I do. I walk around a lot in life like everything's okay. But in my boot, this shoe has now crinkled itself around my big toe.
I think we all have done that.
Yes.
We never know. It's something that I tell. Actually, Jaden came and said someone was being mean to them or whatever, and I says, "What's so?" And I says, "You don't know what that person is going through,
Right.
So I've always tell my kids, be nice to everybody regardless,
Mhm.
because you don't know at what point they will come into your life. It could be the person that saves your life, could
Right.
be a person that needs you. You may need them. And I firmly believe that 100%.
Yes. All right. Here's another one. I love this one. Cupcakes are muffins that believed in miracles. Yeah. So is coal. There was one about coal and it became a diamond, something very similar to that. It
Mhm.
believed in a miracle and then became a diamond.
Oh.
Okay, here's one from Albert Einstein, a gentleman who passed from aortic disease. Stay away from negative people. They have a problem for every solution. But I don't know. Oh no, I had to read that. I have a solution for every problem. I really
It's
do.
okay, I do.
Right? I'm totally a solutions provider. I'm like the encyclopedia if they still had them. That would be me.
I think this one's too. And I know I've said this to you several times. This is the one that's kind of like misery loves company, but I don't want to be
Yes.
that company.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There are people out there that will tell you about their problems. My mother knows. We talked about this. And then you try to give them a solution, and there's just another problem. That solution doesn't work. This solution doesn't work. That solution, they just want to hear the problem. And you know what? That is totally okay. I get the right to walk away from that conversation because now I'm exhausted because I'm a solutions provider. So, yeah.
Darling, let me stop you right there, because you know exactly who I'm talking about that calls me about every day, but it's because of her illness that will call me, and I fixed that problem, but, and it turns to something else. And that's because, with the dementia and stuff. But I mean, there was one time, 2, 3 days ago, it was like 14 times I got a phone call.
Mm,
And
that's hard.
yeah, and I had to quit taking the call, tell my Ricky to answer it, just tell her, I'm taking the shower laying down, because it got to the point to where it upsets me. But
Right.
that's due because of her health issue, though.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So the idea of Feel Good Friday started because we believe the simple things that bring a smile to our face and some of the best things. Smiling and laughing have been proven to reduce stress in our lives. When we smile or laugh, it reduces neurotransmitters in our brains called endorphins, which are in charge of, nope, I totally went above that. I'm going to repeat that line, that whole thing. The idea of Feel Good Fridays started because we believe the simple things that bring a smile to our face and some of the best things. Smiling and laughing has been proven to reduce stress in our lives. And when we smile or laugh, it releases neurotransmitters in our brains called endorphins, which are in charge of making us happy and helping to relieve stress.
And all of that goes right back to the me time.
Yes.
Because years ago, a therapist said to me, there is only one person that can make you happy, and that is you.
Yeah.
So by being happy, it helps yourself. You've got
Yeah.
the me time. It all goes in together
Right.
and makes us a better person.
But you guys make me happy.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
Diane makes me laugh really hard.
oh.
This will make you laugh. You know why I keep muting this? Because my husband's sleeping and he's snoring.
Don't mute it anymore. This is like great YouTube. This is, Josh would agree. This is great content. Move like the camera, get closer.
No.
Who are you kidding? That's what I love about when we do these, because look, I'm not trying to be any kind of Katie Couric or big time TV person. I just want to be me and, not be able to pronounce words and screw up, because
Right.
we're just human. That's the whole thing. We're just showing everybody in the community that this is life. This is what it's like, right? Right.
Normal.
All right, Saturday, Survivor Series Saturday. This just was an update again. We talk about these every now and then. We just had 2 great back-to-back Survivor Series with Daniel Hulse, who went live. And oh my God, I'm totally having a brain freeze on the other one oh my God, can't remember the other one. I'm a horrible human.
It was a woman, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's up. It's up there.
Hold on.
It's good.
I'll
It was
look
so
it
good that I don't remember it right this second, because I'm reading that the community wants to hear from you. In all seriousness, on certain Saturdays during the month, we share stories from survivors or caregivers. So we can do this in a variety of ways. We can do it live, which would be like awesome if you guys went live and then took questions from the community. You'd be doing that with our producer here on YouTube. You can also pre-record a video if that makes you feel more comfortable. A lot of people who are concerned about having too much emotion like to do it pre-recorded so they can take a break and it will get edited. Or you can submit your story in Word format to info@aortichope.org with a picture that we can use. All of these, I need a picture to use, but your story is going to be shared on our website, Instagram, mentioned on our Twitter, put on Facebook, probably shared with Think Aorta US as well, because that idea of Think Aorta, Think Family is true, it's real, it's important. So even if you were misdiagnosed or golden standard of care, it's important to have these doctors hear about these stories so that they are thinking aorta all the time. And there is a link in this post where you can sign up for the Survivor Series. And that was Saturday. All right. Amazon Smile Sunday. I know somebody who likes to shop a lot, and it's not necessarily me. Terry loves to shop a lot. So Terry, she has turned her holiday shopping into something fun. Holiday shopping has begun. It started. So why not turn your shopping like Terry has into a force of good? If you plan on shopping now, on Black Friday, on Cyber Monday, on Small Business Saturday, on all these days, try to make your purchase from smile.amazon.com. You get a chance to choose a charity, and we would be honored if you chose Aortic Hope as your charity of choice, because if you have a qualifying purchase, and most of them qualify, Amazon will actually donate 0.5% of your eligible purchases to Aortic Hope, so there's no extra fee associated with your purchase. And what's so cool is you're going to get an email that lets you know like how much has been raised for the organization. I don't remember what the last amount said, Terry. What did yours say, Terry?
I don't remember. I want to say, hang on. I'm like on my work computer and it keeps dinging. Sorry. I don't remember what mine said, but I know it was a lot. And then I was like,
Yeah.
well, maybe that's not a lot. Maybe I need to shop more. But here's the other thing too. Along with that, about the Amazon Smile stuff, I have yet to see something that I've ordered. And trust me, I order a lot. As a matter of fact, there's a package waiting for me outside. I have yet to see something that is not eligible for Amazon Smile. There is very few things. And the
Right.
best thing about Amazon, they do a subscribe and save. I do my laundry detergent, subscribe and save. I do my fabric softener. I do my trash bags. All of that goes to Amazon Smile too, as far as I know. So,
That's wonderful.
I don't have to go to the grocery store,
Yeah.
and it was
And
great during COVID, but now it's like,
oh yeah.
I just like it a lot.
And for us, a little goes a long way. I mean, even if we have raised, let's say, over $100 for from Amazon Smile, that's paying off of our postage for our Hope Mail or for our care packages. So just support us. Support us on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Give Back Tuesday,
How about just
Small
every day?
Business Saturday. There's
Just
so
every day.
much. Just every day. Just make it an
Every day.
everyday thing. That's
Every day.
one way that you can give back to people.
Mhm.
All right, we are almost done here. I think I meant this to come up on our events page, but our upcoming events that we've got, we have our support group meeting coming up November 30th. We will have all of our December events posted shortly, but Wednesday, November 30th at 7 p.m. We are very lucky to have Dr. Stacy Fisher. I'm not going to read her entire long bio, but Dr. Fisher, who we did do a live event with, will be with us, and she will be able to provide some one-on-one guidance during our support group meeting for at least the first half hour, 45 minutes. And she works over at Johns Hopkins. She's a cardiogeneticist, and it doesn't have to be about genetics. It can be about anything aortic disease related. You only need to register once for our support group meetings in general, and you will be notified when with a link about 15 minutes or even closer to the actual event. You'll be given the link to join through Microsoft Teams, but you only have to sign up once. Now, our regular open to all support group meetings happen the first Tuesday of the month at 12 p.m. Eastern, the last Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then we have a separate link for our caregiver only support group meetings. You have to be a caregiver to be in that. They meet twice a month as well. I believe it's the first Saturday at 10 a.m. And the second, Josh, if you've got that date, it is escaping me. Wednesday at 4 p.m., I think. It's online.
Yes.
And then we also, what was that?
The last Wednesday?
I think it's the second or third Wednesday at 4 p.m. for the caregivers only.
Oh, for
And
the
then we
caregivers,
have a,
yes. I'm
yes.
sorry. I was
Yep.
getting your support groups backwards. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then we have a bereavement support group as well. And we believe that's still going to be happening every other month going into 2023. So look, support group meetings, even for myself, almost 8 years later, they're handy. Even if you don't feel like you need this support, someone needs what you've learned. Someone needs your strength.
Mhm.
Someone needs your thoughts, your suggestions, your experiences, and you have no idea. There's so many new people that are joining this community, and there are no brick and mortar support groups. There never were before, and there certainly really aren't any now since COVID. So having that opportunity to be online in a private, closed, safe environment where you can be in your comfies, just sitting, or if you're at work in midday, and then also have that opportunity to have that one-on-one small group setting with a professional is really helpful.
Helpful.
Healthy. I cannot. Decision-making fatigue, guys, it's real thing.
I do have to say, for anybody that is new to this, to Aortic Hope, and has not attended a support group, or it's not even really dug into what Aortic Hope was, my dissection was August of last year, 2021. I met Karen in Aortic Hope in October, and that is the turning point for me. That is when I started to realize I'm not alone in this. And there's so many people that are like me, and everything I'm feeling and everything that my husband is feeling and my son is feeling as a caregiver, it was amazing to know and understand that I wasn't the only one, that there's other people out there like me, which is shocking, but there are.
There are
Yeah.
a lot, which is wonderful. I mean, considering how rare aortic dissections are, except aortic disease, it's much more common than anybody thinks. Rock from the heart. I have to throw it out there. It'll be up on our event page, but oh my goodness, you guys,
Ready.
they got 3 events in 2023, first of all. But the first one is February, and it's Symposium with Rick Springfield. Oh yeah. Headliner. Amazing. He does such a phenomenal job. Look, you all know Jesse's girl. Don't even say you don't, because you know who he is. And he's got a lot more music than just that. They're going to have an incredible symposium with amazing guest speakers lined up to talk plus a VIP event beforehand. Then you move into April, where they're coming to Baltimore, and that headliner is Night Ranger, Sister Christian. There's more songs in that too.
There's
I'm
more.
not even going to tell you what they are. You can have Google those yourself, because my head's spinning over Rick. But Night Ranger, again, phenomenal lineup of speakers, a little bit different topics you're going to find at this event. All of this will be live streamed as well. And then she's heading over to North Dakota, but in May. So it won't be hideous and cold and miserable. It's going to be amazing. And I don't remember, I don't know if that's been announced, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut on that one. But she is having an event with a symposium and with a headliner as well. Yes.
This is the coolest thing ever. Oh my gosh, I just Googled Night Ranger. All I did was Google Night Ranger. The first thing that comes up is tickets for Baltimore 2023 Hippodrome. That was the first hit.
I know, right? I
That's
saw
pretty
that.
cool.
I got a thing on my Ticketmaster because I'm a subscriber to Broadway across America. And I got a thing on my Ticketmaster the other night when I went to see Tina Turner, which was great. And it said, hey, you have tickets you can get early for Night Ranger. I was like, oh my gosh, like Rock from the Heart's coming up on my Ticketmaster.
I know, it's really
They do an
cool.
amazing job. I mean, every organization, every group on Facebook, they all, it's a lid different pots. People can be part of everything or whatever really fits their need at whatever particular time. And what they do in their lane is very different. Bringing people together around music and education and awareness. It is not like anything I've seen before and nothing that I am interested in running myself, but I am totally interested, as well as everybody on the board, in fully supporting them. Diane supports them off of her page, Aortic Health Unlimited. We're supporting them here and helping to participate in that event. And I think a live auction just went up now for preparing for the event with Rick Springfield in February. Check it out on their page, Rock from the Heart. We will have more details about that next week.
I think there's also a VIP experience with Rick Springfield that you can bid on.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's up to $700.
Yeah,
I think that
it
gets
is.
you 2 tickets to spend the night in the hotel, 2 tickets to the concert with premium seating, 2 tickets to the VIP, 2 meet and greet tickets. Like, it's a dream. Dream.
Yeah, there are a couple other things, but definitely we help them.
Watch Karen and Terry make fools of themselves as we wear our "We're Better Than Jesse's Girl" t-shirts.
No, that's not the one we're doing.
No, we have some other secret stuff. We're not going to,
Yeah,
we're going to go live from there for sure. We're not commandeering at all, but it is a moment that must be captured on film. I still cannot believe that she was able to get him, and I cannot wait. And Diane's going to be there, and a couple other, we're going to meet so many other survivors we've never met before. I mean, that's really, look, in all honesty, Rick is great. But they have the opportunity to interact with other survivors and caregivers and to be part of such an educational event with correct information, easy to understand information. If you can't join everybody, at least try to look into live streaming it, and being part of it online. But all right, guys, that is it for this week's live week in review.
We have some final feedback.
Yeah, let's hear the final feedback.
So Bo he got diagnosed with throat cancer and has an operation on the 28th. So our thoughts will be with him. I asked him when he expects for us to hear from him, and he's like, "Who knows? LOL." And I don't know. I was hoping he would say something like, "Oh, they'll have me for a few days." But
no, Bo, if you can't talk, just get like a whiteboard and just write us messages, like, throw it up online. I love that you had up online recently a series of photos of you getting ready pre-op and saw you on the table, and our thoughts are with you. You're going to do great. And we're so glad your situation. We're not going to discuss it here, but we're very happy as far as prognosis of everything, and whiteboard us and just tell us your thoughts if you're not able to talk for a little bit or you are having a little bit of a slow go of recovery, but we wish you nothing but a fast, easy recovery.
Absolutely.
Any other thoughts there, Josh?
That'll wrap up everything for
all
the
right
day.
Bruce, Ryan, Bo, Diane, Terry, happy Thanksgiving to all of you.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Josh, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Karen.
Mom.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Chuck.
Mom.
Chuck's sleeping, forget it.
Chuck's sleeping.
He's
Thanksgiving.
sleeping.
Chuck's
So
out.
funny. All right, guys, we will see you next Monday, same time, same place, 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll find some other filter to videotape myself in to let you guys know. And you know what? We're coming up on December soon, which means December is our 31 days of hope and joy. It's just a month full of fun giveaways, including you got to play to win. So you got to join us here because we might be giving giveaways here as well. So you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
We'll see. See what happens. Diane,
Yep.
will you be with us next week?
Absolutely.
All right, awesome, wonderful. Thank you guys so much. Again, we'll see you next week. Don't forget to click like, click subscribe, please share, because I'm sure with as common as aortic disease is, that somebody will benefit from one of these articles, even if it's a different disease that they have. And just share it and let's see what the feedback is. But we thank you as always, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving. Be safe.